guys, welcome to today's video. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. And I just wanted to show you what I'm going to be doing in today's video. I am going to be showing you how to make these eyes and this beak for an owl hat. You can put it on any hat. I'm also going to show you how to sew it on. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's get started. And we're going to start with a Clover Amour 5mm H hook. Clover Amour is my favorite, guys. Keeps your hands and wrists and elbows from hurting. All right, we're going to make a magic ring. I'm going to wrap it around and cross it. Hold on to it. Wrap it back around and hold on to it. And then we're going to take your hook under, over, twist it around, pull the second strand, and then you got to pull it back through here. And then you kind of want to flip this around. All right, we're good to go. Now we're going to chain 2 and 7 half double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. I'm going to pull our ring closed, and we are going to slip stitch. So here's your chain. We're going to slip stitch in that chain at the top, right here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and trim this and grab my brown. And we're going to pull this through to finish our slip stitch. This is how you do a color change so you can't really see it, which is the best. Now with our second row, you're going to start with a chain 1, and you're going to single crochet in the same, and then you're going to single crochet increase in each stitch. So 2 single crochets in each stitch. Okay, we should have 14, including this chain 2, so, or the chain 1, I'm sorry. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. All right, so let's pull this closed. So you want to pull that tight. All right, so now we're going to slip stitch. So here's your chain 1 right here. We're going to go up into this right here, if you can see that. I know brown is kind of dark, so here is your chain 1 there. We're going to go over here and slip stitch. All right, so now we're going to color change again. And we're going to grab our off-white. And I am going to go ahead and cut the brown. All right, so we're going to start our off-white with a chain 2. And we're going to double crochet in that same stitch. We are going to double crochet in the next, and then double crochet increase in the next. So that's 2 double crochets. We're just going to repeat that 1 double crochet and then double crochet increase in the next. So all the way around, you're going to do 1 and then 2 and then 1 and then 2. So we'll do that all the way to the other side. end with a double crochet increase, and you should have 20 stitches including the chain 2, so let's count. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and 20. So now we're going to slip stitch, and again, so here's your chain 2, we're going to slip stitch up at the top. We're going to chain 2, and we're going to double crochet in the same, and then we're going to double crochet in the next 2, and then we're going to double crochet increase, and we're just going to repeat that. Double crochet in the next 2, and then double crochet increase. So when I crochet, I know I'm sticking my thumb kind of in the way. It's hard for you guys to see. I apologize, but by doing that, it allows me to pull my stitches a little bit so it's easier to get the hook through the hole. So that's just how I've always crocheted. It keeps my stitches pretty even that way too, but it's kind of hard for me not to do that. And now we should have 26 double crochets, including the chain 2. So that's, let's count. Always count to make sure your rows, you have your stitches every row. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and trim this white, or off white, but I'm going to leave a lot of yarn, like probably maybe 24 inches or so, because I'm going to use that. That's what I use to sew the eyeball on the hat. All right, so now we are going to do one more color change, and I just have this fuzzy yarn. It's cream. It's a bulky weight yarn. This is what I use to give this kind of fuzzy look right here. I believe this yarn's discontinued, unfortunately, but there are other options out there. You could use even a Burnett blanket yarn. Anything chunky, I think, would be great. Anything fuzzy, you could even use the same homespun yarn that this hat's made of. I love making the owl hats out of the homespun by Lion brand because I just think it's just so pretty and it's so soft, so it feels good on your head. But you could do the same thing for that. But this is a yarn that was discontinued at Michael's, unfortunately, and I'm really not happy about it. All right, so we're gonna do another color change, and again, there's your chain 2, and then this stitch right here is what we're gonna slip stitch into. And when we slip stitch into it, and we're also gonna pull our new yarn through to give you kind of a seamless look for your change. And we are going to chain 2. We're gonna double crochet in the same stitch as chain 2. And then we are going to double crochet in the next 12. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. All right, and the way you fasten off is by doing, like, you're going to do another slip stitch and you just pull it through. And I'm just going to leave 5 or 6 inches and I'm going to cut it. All right, so now this is what we have. I am going to go flip it around and I'm going to tie some things off. So I always go back through and pull my magic ring a little tighter, and then I'm going to tie my strands together. So we need to connect the brown and the black. I'm going to tie them off. You want your stitches to stay in place, and then you want to tie your brown to your cream. And then you want to tie your cream and your chunky yarn together. All right, so I'm going to trim all of these except I'm going to leave one strand, the black. And I'm just going to trim them. Make sure you tied your knots tight. I'm going to trim them, just leave a little bit. It's going to be sewn in, you won't see it anyway. Okay, so you're going to make 2 of these eyeballs. And I've already made the other one. So now you have these 2. Now what I do is I put them facing together. And I'm going to take this strand here and my needle, and I'm going to fasten these together just by a couple little stitches. Doesn't have to be very many. And then once you do that, you're going to hide your thread, basically just weave it in here a couple times. And do the same for the other parts of that. Because this part, you are not going to sew this part into the hat. You're just going to leave it kind of up. That way it adds like a 3-dimensional look to the hat. All right, trim that. We have one more. All right, so now the eyes are ready to be sewn to the hat. I'm going to set these to the side for a second, and I am going to show you how to make the beak. Just have this little ball of this, so I'm going to use this orange. It's really light. I'm also going to switch my hook. All right, so I'm going to start. When I start, I do not do a slip knot. You can simply twist your yarn around the hook, and I'm going to chain 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then I am going to single crochet in each chain. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then 4. We are going to chain 1, single crochet in the same, and then single crochet across. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. With the chain, that's 5. So we're gonna do that again. And actually, we're gonna do that a few more times. I got one more. All right, so then now we are going to turn, and then we're gonna skip this one, go to this one. So we'll have 3 in this row. We're going to turn, and we're going to skip this one and go to this one. So we have 2. Turn again, and then we're just going to skip this one and go to this one. So basically you're just skipping that first stitch in these last few rows. And then we're finished once you get to 1 stitch. So you're going to act like you're going to chain, and then you're just going to pull your yarn. I'm going to leave about 12 inches so that I can sew it to the hat. And there's your little beak. All right, so I have already made this hat. The way I find the center, I fold the hat in half, just like that. And then I am going to put a stitch marker in the center. So I believe that's the center, maybe there. All right. So now we are going to take our eyeballs and when you put the eyes in place, you kind of want to push this together, and we're going to go to the bottom. Let's see, this hat's a little bit bigger, so maybe we'll go to the 3rd row. So we're 1, 2, 3, bottom of the 3rd row, line up your eyeballs. And then also I'm going to take some crochet hooks to help me line it up. Because, you know, the main thing with these hats, especially when you have eyes, everything's got to be symmetrical. Otherwise, they don't look right. So, you want to line your center up with your stitch marker. First, I'm going to throw a couple pins at the bottom. Make sure I didn't go through both layers. Okay, now looks like it's lining up right at the end on this side. Oh, see, this side's not lining up right, so I'm gonna have to shift it over a little bit. This part, we'll start here. All right. Alright, so we got this to here. Looks like it's about even. Yep, alright, so let's throw a couple more pins in here. You're only going to pin the off-white in the eye because we're not going to sew this part. Oh, we better hide this thread. I didn't see that. Okay. This stuff happens, right? Alright, so we're going to trim this. We don't want that getting in our way. Alright, so we got that side pinned. Let's pin this side. My needle came out because I went through both layers. Alright, so alright, so now let's go up top here and throw in another pin. Alright guys, just double check because you don't want to start sewing and then it's messed up. So we're going to double check, make sure we're even. Well, that looks pretty good. And the other thing you can do is fold this back over and just kind of give it a feel. Feels like it's pretty even. You can even throw it on your head to make sure the eyes are straight if you want. I've done that a lot. So I think I will put two more pins in here though. Right here on this side. All right, so there is a little bit of a trick to sewing these hats because you want to hide your threads. When they put the hats on and it stretches, you don't want to see these threads. That's so important because it looks so tacky if you can see them. So you want to make sure you do a good job sewing. Which I know a lot of people don't like to sew, but if you like these hats, it's a necessary part. So we're going to try to take our needle and go in at an angle this way. You don't want to take your needle and go this way because you will see the thread. You will see it for sure. So we're going to go in at an angle like this to hide it. And then we're going to go, when you're going back through, you want to go in at an angle like this so that you're not seeing that thread. It's so important, guys. I can't stress enough. I can't tell you how many of these hats I've had to fix because I missed it and then had to go back. So see, I'm taking it at an angle. And then I'm going to skip one and then go to the next. So you're going to go in at an angle like this. And then I'm going to go to the next and an angle like this. I'm going to skip one. And again, now I'm going in an angle like this. Go back down an angle like this. I'm going to skip one. I'm just going to keep going around doing that. Now that we're up here by this, we're just going to push this back and we're going to keep going in those same stitches. You do not want to see your stitches. So we're gonna keep going at that same angle. Keep skipping one stitch, going to the next. When you're going up and down there, you want to go, like when I go back down, I want to go in this next stitch. That way you can't see it. But underneath, you don't really see it, and I'll show you here in a second. I always try to make the inside of my hats look as nice as the outside with my sewing. So it's important that you hide your threads and you just make the insides look nice too. All right, I'm gonna pull my pins out. All right, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna take this black thread. I'm gonna go back in here and I'm going to try to meet up with that cream. Let me show you what the inside looks like. Somehow there's a knot, but that's okay, we can fix that. I'm not sure why there's a knot there. Who knows? Maybe it was in the yarn and I didn't notice it. All right, so that's hidden. Let's see the circle that I made. You can't hardly see it. I try to keep things nice and neat, but there's where I went around the eyeball, and I'm going to tie these two together. And then I'm going to take and go back through the eye to hide it. And I'm going to trim it off. My knot is giving me grief, guys. You know, this stuff happens. It's no big deal though. We'll just go back through here. Now we got to take this knot this way inside of the eye so you don't see it. And it's hidden. All right. So there's one eye done. Now we're going to do this one. Same way. You're going to go back around and do the sewing all the way around here. All right, so we got both of our eyes on. Now we're gonna pin the beak. I'm gonna take the beak and just kind of line it up in the middle there and put a couple pins. Kind of want to go right underneath this top and down. I'm going to start up here in the corner. You can start at the bottom, at the top, whichever. I just want to make sure I get it straight across the top. I'm going to go down into this cream first. And then I'm just going to go back up and down through every single loop here at the top. And then ending in the cream, try to match, you know, the same height from over here. I'm going to take this pin out for a second. All right. All right, so now my thread's getting kind of short. I'm going to go to the bottom. And gonna go in through just wherever you can to make it stable. And I'm gonna go up. Now I'm gonna go across a couple to get to the other side. And then back down. All right, so now when you flip it over, you want to try to match your threads so you can hide them better. So I'm gonna take this one down here and then tie them. This secures your sewing so it doesn't fall out if it's washed, which I always recommend my customers to hand wash their hats. Just like a good sweater, hand washing is always best, right? All right, now we're gonna trim. And then, all right, so we have our beak on. Now I have one more little step. It's super easy. I like to add a little sparkle. So I'm gonna take my 4mm hook, the G, leave a tail here, and I'm gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm gonna fasten off. Do that twice. But I'm gonna tie each one. I'm gonna pull it, and then I'm gonna tie it and try to keep it round. And then I'm gonna knot it. I'm gonna take my needle, put it up here at the top. And you're gonna tie it. Hide your thread and trim it, of course. All right, guys, there you have it. Super easy, right? What do you think? These tops, I simply just cut yarn and braid it into the hat. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. It really does help me out. Thank you so much. There's how you do the eyes and the beak.